In question 20, we're given two crocodiles. And to estimate, let's write the word estimate. An estimate is like a sensible guess. And to estimate the length of an alligator, what you do is you measure the distance between the eye and the nose and multiply it by 12. So it's the distance times 12. And that's the rule to estimate. So we've been given two alligators. One has a distance of 17.5 centimeters and the other one has a distance of 15 centimeters. And they've put this down not to scale. What they're saying to you is do not use a ruler to try to measure and then estimate from that. So we have to do a calculation. Now we have to work out the difference between the lengths of these two alligators. So let's write the word difference down. It simply means minus, subtract, take away, and so on. And it has that symbol. You can find the length of this by doing 17.5 times 12 and 15 times 12 and subtracting them. So my first calculation is 17.5 times 12. Now, I don't like working with decimals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the decimal point there, one place. So this number is 175 now, times 12. So what I'm going to do is use the grid method to work this out. So let me write it here. I'm going to partition 175. So the 1 is in the hundreds column, so I'll write down 100. The 7 is in the tens column, so I'll write 70. And finally the 5 is in the ones or the units column, so I'll write 5 here. Now I'm going to partition 12, 110, and there's a 2 in the units or the ones column. I'll put a 2 there. So now I need to work this out. 10 times 100. Now the rule of multiplying a number by 10, you write this number down and you simply add a 0. So any whole number multiplied by 10, you just add a 0. Now we do 10 times 70. So we write 70 down and we add a 0. And 10 times 5 is 50. So that's the first row done. We move on to the second one. So it's 2 times 100 is 200. 2 times 70. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide this 0. So my calculation is 2 times 7, and that is 14. And I add this 0 here. So 2 times 70 is 140. And finally I do 2 times 5, which is 10. Now my next step is to add all these. And I'll do that in column addition here. 1000 and then 700, but I have to be careful. And then I've got 50 and then 200, again very carefully, 140 and finally 10. So I simply need to add all these. 0 add 0 add 0 add 0 add 0 add 0 is a 0. 0 add 0 is 0. Add 5 is 5. Add 0 is still 5. Add 4 makes it 9. Plus this 1 is a 10. So I put a 0 down and I carry the 1 over to the next column. Now I have 0 add 7 is 7. Add this 2 is 9. Add this 1 is 10. and then I finally add this one, which makes it 11. So I put 1 down and carry the 1 over to the next column. And in this final column, I've only got 2. As before, 1, 2, 3, comma. So this here is the thousands. So it's 2,100. Now with any whole number, we know the decimal point is here. It's to the right of the ones or the units column. Now remember, I did this extra step. I moved the decimal point to the right. Now I have to do the opposite. So I have to move this decimal point backwards to there. So I can remove this. So my answer is 210.0, which is the same as 210. So I know the first alligator is 210 centimeters long. Now with the second alligator, we have to do 15 times 12. So let's do that. 15 times 12. This time I'm going to use column multiplication. So I'll do 2 times 5, which is 10. So I can't put 10 like this in one column. I have to carry this over. Then I do 2 times 1, which is 2, plus this 1 that I've carried over, which makes it 3. Then I move on to the next column, but let me remove these to make it easier. So it's 1 times 5. Now because I've moved into the tens column, I'm going to put a helper 0. So I do 1 times 5 is 5. And 1 times 1 is 1. Now I simply add these two. So 0 add 0 is 0. 3 add 5 is 8. Nothing add 1 is simply 1. So my answer is 180 centimeters. Now we simply want to work out the difference. So we have to subtract the 2. So let me do that. 210 take away 180. Now I can do this in my head because the whole tens. So I can do 190, 200, 210. So I've added 10, 20, 30. Or I can do it the traditional column subtraction way. 0 take away 0 is 0. 1 take away 8. I can't do that. So I go to the neighbor, I cross out the 2 becomes a 1, and the one I've borrowed turns that 1 into 11. So 11 take away 8 is 3, and 1 take away 1 is 0. I don't need to write that. So the difference between the two alligators is 30 centimeters. Now another way of doing this is to work out the difference. So you will do 17.5 take away 15. And if you do that carefully, you'll get 2.5. And then I can do 2.5 times 12. Now again, there's lots of ways of doing this, and I'll leave that with you. Your answer should be 30.